Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to 22 Panels. My guest tonight is Paul Tobin, who just wrapped up a phenomenal book in String, has Dark Pyramid going, has you always have like five comics going, so you're gonna have to like let everybody know. Um, and who, I just remembered to hit record on because like we've been chatting for 20 minutes about baseball and soccer and
Double plays and
right.
underdogs and things like that. We all love
Bunts
an
being
underdog.
dumb. So, Paul, how's it going? Nice to have you back.
Good. I told you like earlier, I'm just kind of on the recovery from COVID, so that's nice.
Which is no fun, no fun. But I thought that was over. Didn't they tell us that there was
Yeah,
no more COVID?
I apparently just run across a strain that they didn't read that email or something.
Oh,
Yeah,
they didn't edit the. Yeah,
yeah. I just went for a
we
walk.
we
It
we
was
could
nice to
make
get
too
out of the
many
house.
jokes that aren't funny enough anymore because they
I
make you
know.
think of.
There's so many topics these days that like somebody will joke about on online and I'll be like, you know, that's a well constructed and well delivered joke and it just depresses me. It
Yeah,
just depresses me.
yeah. But at
Yeah.
the same time, it's even more depressing when we don't joke about it.
Yeah. Yep. But I think certain people have their certain roles, so I'm like
Oh, I know.
so like other people are like, let me talk about
Yeah.
this whole thing that everybody needs to know about, and I'll retweet it, and then I'll post some stupid Italian comic from the '70s and laugh at it. I've been really
Yeah,
into
no,
Italian comics from the '70s because they're
we
so
we've
bizarre.
they are. We've started reading Greg Rucka's Lazarus in our weekly episode because like when it started, it seemed like cautionary tale and now as we're moving towards the finish, it's like Greg, did you write the playbook?
Yeah, there's some. I was just talking about like a post-apocalyptic Italian book this morning, and it was like, yeah. We might get there to the post-apocalypse. It doesn't seem so weird anymore. I just hope it's Planet of the
Do you
Apes.
remember which one?
Cosmonet, you probably can't show it online, so.
Well, I don't show things.
Okay.
We're audio only, but I
Oh,
like to
that's
look
right.
them up in case I want to read them myself.
Do you read Italian?
No, but that doesn't mean that I don't like looking at pictures.
Oh. I There's so many weirdo Italian comics that gained my interest that I actually am teaching myself Italian.
Oh,
I
nice.
I just had to do it. And plus, I mean, I won't say that's the entirety of the reason. I'm getting old enough now that I feel like if I don't start doing some things, then I won't ever get there. And it's like, do I want to die being monolingual, just one language? And it's like, no, that seems kind of lame. So I'm gonna.
You know that feels legit to me.
Mhm.
I actually have a friend that's been teaching herself Italian for a while
Nice.
because, as it turns out, if you have, I think, one Italian grandparent, you're eligible for citizenship.
Mm.
So, like, if all else fails,
Right. Part of it, another reason is like one of my very best friends is Francesco Francavilla, the
okay.
artist, and his Italian accent is so heavy that I think if I just learned Italian, then I could understand him better than him speaking English.
That works. That
Well, of
works.
course, then we'd run into the problem that I'm sure that my Italian accent would just be atrocious.
Well, I mean, my wife is a massive Saturday Night Live fan, and we were watching the new episode, and there's a sketch where the two the two Bad Bunny and I forget which cast member both have the crazy girlfriends that they don't know how to get rid of and who have decided that like they need to defend their honor. So they're shouting these things at each other in
Mhm.
Spanish. They're essentially like, she's crazy, but I don't know how to get rid of her. But then when the girlfriend tries to shout something in Spanish, it's like, yeah. And then the subtitles are like banana,
Right.
pantyhose,
Yeah,
water.
that's the level of Italian I have right now.
Right.
That and that
Um,
I'm really worried, and Francesco says it could come true that since I'm teaching myself, one of the main tools I have is these old Italian uh, comics from the 70s of questionable morality, shall we say? Uh, and I fear that I'll go to Italy and start speaking, and somebody's going to go, "Did you learn Italian from 70s alt comics?" It's like, oh, is it that obvious? It's very obvious.
hey, I mean, you got to figure out how to figure it
Mhm.
out. Like
Yeah.
I have a friend who learned his English from Captain America. So,
Oh,
you know.
yeah. Whatever gets the job done,
Yeah.
whatever keeps your mind occupied, and nobody's
Keeping
paying.
the mind occupied is very important.
Oh, yeah.
Though, I mean, if your output is any indication, I don't think you have a lot of trouble with that.
I
Because,
do though.
like,
My mind
we
is
talked,
churns and churns. So,
right, we talked about this a little last time. I don't know anybody who, like, churns out as many different things. I mean, there was a time where Bendis wrote in like five genres at once, right?
mhm.
But you don't just write in multiple different genres. You write for different age groups.
Yeah, different age groups, and then I think more and more I'm novels. So,
Yeah. Which one of
so
these days I'll have to read those.
yeah,
Do they have good audiobooks? That's how I do most of my novels at this point.
there's some good audiobooks. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I'll put them on my list.
I've heard good things about my works on audio, but
Okay.
I have never been able to, not a single word myself because I
Once you're
recoil.
done, you're done.
Yeah, I can't, I would judge it too harshly no matter what. If it was the best performance on earth, because you hear things in your own voice. Um,
Right.
it's
Have
just
you
like
considered reading your own? Or is that way too much work?
it would be too much work. Um, and uh I forget who I was talking with this the other day. Probably Colleen, because I've been isolated with my wife for several
Right.
days from COVID. But I every now and then I'll take a video of my mom's never been to my house. My mom lives in Iowa and she's never been to this house, so I take videos
Okay.
of it um, and I narrate them.
Right.
And boy, when I listen to them, I'm like, I always feel like my voice is kind of okay, but then I listen to it and I do sound like a 70s Iowa kid just fresh from the hayride. So I don't think
Where
that
in Iowa did you grow up?
I grew up near the Minnesota border, up near like Charles City and things like that.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Because my mom is in Galena, so right over
Mhm.
the Illinois border,
Yeah.
and my wife grew up in the Sioux Falls area. So
Oh,
like, and I spent
that,
a year living in Iowa City way back.
what year?
Would have been 98,
I'd have been there
most of
too.
ni yeah, most of 98.
I lived in Iowa City from 84 to 2004.
Okay. Yeah.
So we probably hung out together and just forgot it.
I mean, possibly. I was working at the Best Buy in Cedar Rapids, and I was at work a lot. And my
Mm,
girlfriend was still in Chicagoland, so when I wasn't at work, I was often driving back to Chicago.
mm,
So, I mean, my haunt when I got out of the apartment or work or whatnot is I'd go down to Prairie Lights and
mm.
sit and drink coffee and read. And
It's a really good bookstore.
it is. I still, anytime I'm within 50 miles of Iowa City, we have to
Uh,
divert ourselves to go to Prairie
and
Lights.
they, this will appeal to like nobody listening, but the thing that I miss most from Iowa City is Gabe's, the little music venue. That was I watched so many fantastic bands there. That I
Yeah.
mean, great. I mean, it was the worst dive I can ever remember, but
I mean, but that sort of dive in college towns is where you get to see all of the bands before they're anybody. And
hmm
some of them never even become anybody, but they were great that night.
right. But they had that energy, you know.
Right. Right.
Yeah, and Gabe's was really good because it was like a nexus, like Iowa City is a nexus point for we're leaving Chicago and
Right.
going to the West Coast, but what can we get on the way? There's
Right.
nothing but right there at Gabe's.
Right.
So you could
Yeah,
get
it's
some
like you
great
swing
bands.
down through Champaign and then you go across to Iowa City,
Uh,
maybe Ames, but they don't have the same sort of,
mm-mm.
I mean, because like people who haven't lived in farm country don't realize that there are like two different types of college town. There's like college towns where the arts and English and whatnot departments are legit, and there are college towns where they primarily teach like engineering and agriculture.
Engineering, agriculture, and sports.
Right.
So
Right.
yeah,
Um, every once in a while you have a team like NIU and Iowa. They both have legit engineering and agriculture, but they've also got writing and music programs and
yeah,
whatever.
yeah. It was a good town.
Um, yeah,
Um, I don't really miss it too much, but part of that's just because I don't miss Iowa. So
right. Yeah, I don't miss living there, but I do like visiting there.
yeah. I Colleen left and I left Iowa City in 2004 and we have not set foot in the town since. It's not like
You
a
haven't even gone home to visit, or
it wasn't
mom's not in Iowa City.
no. Yeah,
Okay,
they're up near Minnesota border, so
right.
yeah, there's nobody I would know nobody there.
All
It'd be
right.
a drive through. Still be
All
kind of
right.
interesting. I've done a couple of uh Google Maps walk through the
Right.
city and kind of
Yeah.
see what's still there and what's changed, which is kind of
Right.
fascinating to do. It's really
Yeah.
weird. You can just walk through places and, you
It
know,
is.
go to
Do you
places.
ever use that for reference purposes?
Oh,
Google Maps?
absolutely.
Yeah.
It's fantastic for reference.
Yeah. I
Especially
didn't go
like
ahead.
small towns and things like that. Like if it's weird because you would think, oh, let's like if the story is in New York, you can walk through and it'll be really cool. But you know what? You don't really need to do too much reference for New York because
Right.
unless you're saying, here's a specific address, your artist can just kind of draw a thing. But if
Right.
you're going to say, oh, this was in, this town with a population of 350 that does exist in Poland, if you don't have that street corner right, people are going to be like, oh, I just looked it up and you're a fraud, Mr. Tobin. And it's like, it's like, so you
Well,
can
and
look it up.
even when it's not a real city, I one of the things that actually got my mom into comics, aside from the fact that, I've recorded like 500 some odd of these,
Jeez.
um, is that in Chip Zdarsky and Ramon K. Perez's Stillwater,
Mm,
I'm flipping through one day and I went, I know that street. And I went on Google Maps and I found the exact angle because it's walking down an aptly named diagonal street in Galena, Illinois.
mm.
And sure enough, I immediately shot it out to Ramon. He's like, "Yep," but he didn't even know the town. He just managed to come across the angle.
Oh,
So,
nice.
like, us talking about it, like, he's like, "Yeah, no, I was just looking for this unique angle, and it's
Mm,
because it's like this." angle into a main street, and there's an old-fashioned light post on the corner, that sort of thing. It's a really cool angle, but
Mhm.
it's also like an angle that I saw walking down the hill from grandma's house so
Yeah,
many thousand times.
right. Yeah, Google Maps is great for stuff like
It's
that.
like,
Even just like what
how
type
is
of
my childhood in a Chip Zdarsky comic?
yeah, which is with Chip, that can be good and that can be bad.
Yeah,
He's a lovely writer, one of my favorite writers. He's a great guy
yeah,
too. I got to hang out with him in Canada once at a convention. It was really fun.
yeah.
Uh, but yeah, that Google Street View is good too for like what kind of what's going to be parked along a street,
Right.
what kind of graffiti, how clean is it?
Hmm. Hmm.
Just so many things
Yeah.
that it's just yeah, it's a tool that you gotta use. I mean, if you're
Right.
professional at all, you just gotta use it.
Well, or at least you should.
Yeah.
Uh,
Having
uh,
said if you're professional at all, you gotta use it. I'll take that back because there's different types of what you're trying to create, and sometimes that's not your focus, so it can actually stumble you up. So
I just always anytime I'm thinking of particularly like scenery type stuff, I think back to a story that Kyle Starks told me about Chris Schweizer,
mm,
because they're like best friends and work together regularly. And Schweizer like had gone to the library and had these big books he was using as reference, but it was hard to like hold the books. And so he spent a day building himself a wood book holder so he could go back to drawing. And Kyle's like, which is really just like Chris work avoidance
mhm,
because like as soon as he told me about this, I'm like, Chris, you're aware that you could either pull the image up on your phone without going to the library, or take a photo of the page in the book and just have your phone there.
but
And it literally had not occurred to Chris.
yeah, see, I don't think that's work avoidance for him because so much of what he does is like
Right.
he loves to construct things
Yes.
that's actually, I mean, he's teaching himself how to draw and how to
Right.
construct at the same time. Like
Right.
he cannot draw like a room without building a full set, like
Right.
stage for it. And it's like
Right.
it's it's really lovely and it really
So
works.
you know Chris.
Oh yeah, Chris, he's fantastic.
Yes.
I've known him for a long time, yeah.
Actually, I
Kyle's a genius too. They work
yeah,
so
no,
well
they're
together.
amazing. Um they were both at C2E2. Actually, I'm wearing my hi, I'm Tad from
It's so dark that I can't see
yeah,
it.
no. I don't know many Tads. I know no Thaddeus's who are Tads, except for
Mhm.
me and the one in Six Sidekicks of Trigger Keaton. So since there's a panel in it where he's pulling his shades down and going, "My name is Tad,"
You're
my
like,
wife turned that into a sweatshirt for
that's great.
me. But no, they were both at C2E2 this year, as was Benjamin Percy. And I don't know if Ben and Chris managed to actually meet up, but I told them both that they needed to go meet each other because I'm convinced that if there are two people in comic books that you could drop in a forest 1,000 miles from civilization and they would be okay. I don't know if they'd
Hmm.
find their way out or just decide to stay, but
Hmm.
they would be okay.
Right.
It's Chris Schweizer and Benjamin
Yeah.
Percy.
I don't know Ben, but Chris could get it done.
Well, when I was saying this to Ben, he's like, "Yeah, that's essentially what I've done already."
All right.
Doesn't live well, and it's kind of what Chris has done too. I mean, they both live in like
Yeah,
small areas out in the woods, and Ben's in Minnesota, and Chris is down in Kentucky.
two good areas for it for being out in the woods.
Right.
I used to love being in the woods, but I'm not built for it anymore. I used to like by the time I was like 5 years old, if I didn't come home at night, my mom was like, "Eh, you'll be fine."
I love that. How many days did she have to be gone before she'd decide that she needed to, if you're about to miss school
I
or,
I remember I got no, I wasn't in the woods this time, but I got stranded in a city for a couple of days when I was 12 years old, and finally managed to get to a phone and called home. And I'm like, Mom, I'm so sorry. And she was like, I did not know you were gone. And I'm like, okay.
I'm assuming because you said that you sent her videos and whatnot, that this means that she was the good but hands-off mom, not the completely ignored her son.
E- Every mom was a hands-off mom back in those days because there were no cell phones. There were no, once the kid was out of your sight, what are you going to do about it?
I mean, it was actually a mixture of every mom was hands off and every mom was hands on,
Hmm.
um, because like parents were much more willing to call you out whether you were their kid or somebody else's kid. I mean, I knew that if I was 6 blocks from home, but it was like anybody who even kind of knew my mom that saw me do something wrong,
Well, yeah,
A, they'd call
the
me out on it.
the
B, my
network
mom
would
would
just,
find out about
yeah,
it.
yeah.
I mean, this is back when like every elementary school had its own phone directory
Hmm. Yeah.
that went out to the parents at the beginning of the year so that they could
Yeah.
reach anybody else in the school.
Yeah, it wasn't too hard where I went to grade school. The class was 17 people, so 17
Yeah,
kids.
mine was a little bit bigger, but
Mm-hmm.
only because we had like 6 elementary schools in town. It was
Mm-hmm.
a little bit bigger because they went out of their way to keep it from being much bigger.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Where I
most of
was
my
at with all the
classes,
kids, it was one school.
right.
You just it was it's gone now, which is too bad because I'd love to walk through it now because I would like to see what size it was because
Yeah, it's probably way smaller than you remember it.
yeah. Because I can remember the giant library, and it's like there was no way there was a giant library.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
The giant library that's about the size of my office now. I just hadn't imagined that many books before.
Uh-huh. Yeah, exactly. I used to love
You
it
know.
though. I knew right where I would walk in, go past the first row because it was stupid books. Then you curve around the side and there was all the Greek and Roman mythology books, and that's what I loved to start with. And it was
I
like,
was I was the king of the biography for most of elementary school.
oh, really?
We had a good biography section. I loved to read about Edison or Franklin or Willie Mays
Oh, that's
or
fascinating.
you name it. I did adventure stuff too.
Mm,
Even then, I was that mixture of fiction and nonfiction,
hmm.
um, that I still kind of maintain. But I had much more of an affinity for biographies in elementary school than I do now.
Huh.
Yeah.
I don't think of an elementary student as a huge biography. I mean, unless it's like, oh, the sports hero and things like that.
Well, I mean, and a little of it was because, like I said, Willie Mays, Lou Gehrig,
Yeah.
Thomas Edison, Albert
Yeah.
Einstein,
Sports hero Albert Einstein. Yeah. He was,
Edison too. Yeah,
yeah.
uh, Lincoln. I've always been a weird mix of. I mean, actually, the funny thing is, I probably didn't get into like biographies of creative people until I was much older.
I know to a certain degree though, back those days, and I'm not saying it's untrue now, but I think it was more true then that like some of those famous inventors and things, that was the creative field in some
Yeah.
way. And I
Well,
mean,
but it also, you know, whether right or wrong, schools have always preferred nonfiction over fiction when they're So while they're going to have more fiction books because they want people to read, they're not necessarily going to have the biography of L. Frank Baum rather than having, or the biography of Jules Verne. I
Hmm.
mean, as I get older and I realize how much, two things. First, I think that if you want to understand the people from any given era, you need to read the fiction.
Hmm.
But second, um, so many of the ideas start in fiction.
Yes. It's a springboard, you know?
Whether it's politics or science or whatever, so many of the ideas, so many of the what if
Hmm.
starts in fiction,
I
you
haven't read
know.
a I haven't read a biography in a long time, but I have to say, you just triggered a I want to read a biography of Jules Verne. That sounds
Yeah. There have actually been a lot of good comic biographies lately. I just read uh, and actually, I read the one that came out last year, and there's one that came out last week that I haven't read. There have been two comic biographies of Audrey Hepburn recently. I had no idea that she was such a philanthropist late in her life.
she was cool as hell. Yeah.
Yeah, she essentially gave up acting to be a mom and then got involved with UNICEF and whatever. And like, I'd loved her as an actress, but like reading her biography, it's like, oh wow,
Yeah, she seems to have been
no,
a genuinely good person, which is
right.
it's nice.
Similarly, there's a great comic biography of Josephine Baker and another one of Hedy Lamarr. They're some seriously badass women. Like,
Really are. Just need a Veronica Lake in there, and then I'll be happy.
well, but like Hedy Lamarr was an inventor, a spy,
Absolutely.
and an actress.
Yeah, I know. She's
Josephine
fascinating.
Baker was a spy
Yeah, if
and
you
a
if you
philanthropist.
if you didn't have like, actual proof of all this, you'd be like, well, you really fictionalized the hell out of that one. It's like,
Right. Right. Like, I mean, we were briefly talking at the beginning about how hard fiction has gotten for like dystopia right now because it's like, but what we read in the newspaper is more far-fetched than,
hmm. Yeah.
but like particularly women throughout the like 1920s to 40s that we know about at all,
Hmm.
like are generally like Renaissance women in so many different ways that it's like, are we sure?
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
why
it's
is
great
it
stuff.
again that men think they're inherently smarter or any braver or
Ego and stupidity. That's that's just it. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, Hetty was fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Josephine, nice
So
stuff.
so so yeah, you don't even have to leave comics to read a lot of great biographies now. For
Hmm.
that matter, we're talking briefly Italian comics. A lot of great biographies are coming out of European comics right now.
Hmm.
Um, Mostly French, but all of Europe. I've seen them. You know, I got to learn about oh, why am I drawing a blank on her name? Black Panther Party. Um, hate it when I can't remember a
Yeah.
name.
It's like when people ask me for
Angela
recommendations.
Davis. There was a fantastic Angela Davis biography in comic form a couple of years ago. And of course, David Walker and Marcus Kwame Anderson did the history of the Black Panther Party, which
Yeah.
was,
David's a Portland guy. He's
yes, he
fantastic.
is. Marcus is a regular on 22 panels. They're up for another Eisner for Big Jim and the White Boy.
That's right.
Required reading for anybody who
Hmm.
hasn't read it yet.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Mm-hmm.
it's it's another good time for comics. So it's just like
It is.
year after year, it's like this seems like the best time for comics. It's just like watch.
I've been calling it the Platinum Age of Comics for about 10 years now.
Yeah, it's
I
really
mean,
the best.
yeah, everybody who talks about comics being like dying, I'm like, you're not paying attention.
You're not, yeah. You don't have a
If you
wide
think
enough
comics
breadth.
are dying, that
Yeah.
means that you're only reading Marvel and DC, and they're not
Uh-huh.
even really dying.
Yeah, they're doing fine. Yeah. Yeah, all of those such and such is dying. It's like you're talking about the one book you love and only because
Right,
the hero that you like isn't in the team right now. So shut up.
right. Um, but yeah, we've been all over the place. Tell me about String, because I love String. And since
Uh,
we're like 40 minutes in, and that was the specific book that I reached out to you about.
it's another one of my books where I'm really interested in ways that the people see the world. Um, so the main character, um, Yoon, she can see she sees literal strings that attach to people, and one type is a blue string that she can see, and blue strings attach between people who have had fun together, shall we say? And there's
We're an adult podcast. They fucked.
they fuck. um, and
I mean,
then
maybe they made love, possibly
right,
they had sex,
yeah,
but
they had
but
sex.
there was erogenous contact because it
Right.
doesn't seem to require penetration. I think we saw some strings that went between women and women, but
Uh-huh.
erogenous contact, and we won't define it before beyond that.
That's actually a part of the book. There's a scene where Yoon tries to define it, and I wrote in the script that there's like an orgy scene where she's taking notes. And, and I got to tell you, there's a huge difference between writing there's an orgy scene and having the brilliant artist Carlos turn in that page and me going, oh, we're not going to get away with this. And then I talked to James, the editor, James Emmett, who's a fantastic editor and great guy, and he's like, "Yeah, let's do it." I'm like,
Yeah,
oh, okay, you know.
yeah,
But yeah, and then the other type of string that you can see is between murderers and their
yeah.
victims, uh, and she can occasionally see a string that's going to happen,
Right,
very short ahead in time. And at the end of the first issue, spoiler, she sees a black string connecting to herself, which
right,
that within the next very short time period, she's either going to kill someone or be the other side of the string. So,
but
uh,
she's completely nonviolent. So
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, it becomes interesting. I also just I love her like walking through the police station
I
and
really
all
like
the
that.
cops
Carlos pulled that
diving
off
under
so well.
tables.
Yeah, nobody wants their secrets to be known. I mean, she ruins the relationship that her partner is in immediately because
Right,
she sees a blue string connecting her her police partner to a person that's not them. So,
right, right,
you just don't need those secrets out there.
right. So like I mean, particularly and you might have just answered the question, like, where do you come up with the concept that like we're gonna have this woman who has this superpower that she essentially gets to know two very specific kinds of secrets about
Mhm.
everybody else?
Right. Yeah, I guess in a way I did kind of answer that because I'm very the way people perceive the world to me is a fascinating thing because I mean, you and I have talked for like close to an hour now, and we are very similar people. And
Yeah.
if you and I walked the same street at the same time, and then people questioned us what we saw, our viewpoints would be so different. We would
Oh,
mention
absolutely.
completely different things. You would say something, and I would go, I didn't see that. It's
All
just
right.
not our focus. It's not our perception. It's not the way
Hmm.
we see the world. Even
Hmm.
though we've established ourselves as pretty simple. Bunting. We're
Right.
now we're now bunt brothers.
Right.
We
We're
hate bunting.
anti-bunt brothers.
Right, exactly. Uh, so
except when it looks really cool.
Yeah. For not for game purposes, but for story purposes.
Right.
You know?
I mean, that's actually the greatest issue with baseball to begin with. And one of the reasons that people started feeling like games were longer, part of it was that they were, but part of it was if you start running the numbers, it's often better to strike out than ground out.
Hmm.
And it's almost always better to hit a home run. Well, not almost always. It's always better to hit a home run than any other kind of hit. And like
Hmm.
to max out going after home runs is going to make you strike out more. But as you realize that strikeouts aren't as big of a deal, and walks really are as good as hits, but they're much more boring. And like
They really
stolen
are.
bases are a really bad idea unless you're really, really certain that you're not going to get caught because the
Mhm.
out is almost always way worse than the extra base.
Hmm.
Um, but as everybody figured that out and started playing that way, it takes away like almost all of the fun parts.
Yeah, I just like a manager that's got, 16 pounds of chew in, isn't it? And spits
Right.
on the field and goes, let's just do this, And it's like,
Well, but that's also why like when Theo Epstein was done winning the Cubs a World Series, he went to work in the commissioner's office.
mhm.
And everybody was talking, oh, it's pace of game, blah, blah, blah. It's like, yeah, is it? Let's try to gather. So he put together a really in-depth survey, and I know how in-depth it was because I was one of the people who took it. Asking about like rank these events in terms of how exciting they are, rank. And it turned out that the things that we get the least of are the things that we like the most, but it makes sense that we like it. And like, we don't think we want them because we understand the stats. So that's why he came up with things like people know about the pitch clock. Almost nobody realizes that one of the reasons that we're seeing way more stolen bases now is the bases are 6 inches wider, which means there's a foot taken away from your distance in between bases. And think of how many close plays there were before.
It's, I often think it's nuts. Like the margins in
Right.
sports and
Yeah.
the time that it becomes most apparent to me, like the ridiculously small margins in sports is Olympic downhill skiing, where someone will like say, you know, that person, that was one of the most glorious runs I have ever seen in my life. The skill, the beauty of it. And it's too bad that their competitor had one of the worst runs I've ever seen. I don't know why they were out there. They came in zero point 0.2 seconds behind. It's ridiculous. It's shameful. It's like, wait, what? Point 2 seconds?
Well, and like they say that the distance between first and second in track and field is always a mile, even though it's really, really not.
Mhm.
Jackie Robinson's brother set the record in I think the 100 meters, except that nobody knows this because like he didn't set the record. He beat the previous record by almost 2 seconds and lost by almost 2 seconds to Jesse Owens.
Oh. Which isn't shameful.
But it's like
Yeah. I always feel bad for those people that are like you say, a brand new world record, except for this person who just
right.
slaughtered.
Yeah, yeah. Brand new world record for
Uh-huh.
5 seconds until the
Uh-huh.
next guy broke your
Yeah.
record.
Yeah. It's nuts. So, like you can be like one of the best athletes of all time, but if you happen to be in the same era as the best athlete of all time, you're nobody.
Right.
If
Right.
you'd been born one
I mean,
era.
I'm not a basketball player, but how many great basketball players were playing in Jordan's era?
Hmm. Yeah.
How many do we remember really well, unless you're non-Bulls fan and
Right.
we're pissed off that nobody knew your guy? I grew up in Chicago, so like I know
Oh, you,
Scottie Pippen and I know that like
uh,
he'd probably be remembered more if he hadn't played with Jordan,
Yeah, I remember
but
those
I don't know
days.
how much more.
Remember those days, and I can remember. Oh God, now I'm blanking on his name. The crazy rebounder they had, Rodman. Rodman.
Horace Grant.
No, Rodman. Was it
Oh,
Rodman?
Rodman, yeah.
Yeah, like in
After
those
he
days,
came down from Detroit.
he was
Yeah,
good crazy in those
yeah.
days. Now he's bad crazy. But his daughter is a fantastic soccer player.
And Rodman's an interesting one.
Ah, he's so crazy.
He is, but he gets along with Eddie Vedder, and Eddie Vedder doesn't generally suffer complete fools.
Eh.
So like it's weird.
Sometimes if you've been getting along with someone for a long time and then they turn into a complete fool, you'll suffer them.
Yeah, and also I think part of it is like Eddie remembered him as a basketball star, and then one day, not even because they'd met, Eddie's watching him on TV, and he's talking about how his life was saved by a Pearl Jam song, and he's sitting there going, "Wait a minute."
Yeah, I used to love those days. Those were classic basketball days, watching Jordan flying and Rodman rebounding.
Actually, we were talking about sharing Iowa City. I was living in Iowa City for the what I still think of as Jordan's greatest game. I know that statistically there are some but I remember that I want to say the Jazz were up 2 games to 1, so it wasn't quite must win, but it was close. And Jordan was running 103 fever and throwing up.
Yeah, when you said his greatest game, maybe not statistically, I'm like, yeah, I know which one he's
Right. And yet put down what, 54?
Yeah, and an all-around game too. It was like
Right. Right. Like it was triple double. I think 12 steals and 10
gotta
just
be so frustrating as an opponent.
and you kept seeing him throwing up on the sideline. So it
Uh-huh.
wasn't like, oh, we
Right.
heard he was throwing up earlier.
Hmm. Yep.
At least once he called timeout in order to go throw
There.
up.
Yep. Uh, speaking of being sick, my throat is starting to seize, so I'm gonna.
Well, then we gotta. I mean, we're gonna say string amazing. Either go track down your single issues if for $8 a month you can get yourself a global comics subscription. It's all there already. Or the trade paperback will be in stores. I think in June, or is it July?
I'm absolutely abysmal at knowing
One
when.
of the two. I know it's available for order, so go talk to your comic shop. My quick question, because it's always my closing question, is tell me something you love, preferably a comic.
Uh,
Doesn't have to be. Storytelling, preferably. Doesn't
Italian
have to be, but
Medi
that
right
not
now
enough people,
is
not
my
enough other people know.
I don't know.
And you
I mean,
want to.
to a certain degree, I always well, Steve Lieber just put out his cover that he's released his cover that he's been working on. I've watched him work on. So if it's Steve's birthday, well, you're not going to release this today, but he's
Well, that's okay. Today is
May 19th.
May 19th. It's Steve Lieber's birthday. Happy birthday, Steve.
Yeah. Uh, that's good.
He put out his cover for what?
Oh, there's an upcoming cover for a Metamorpho that has it's a tribute
Okay.
to that Neil Adams cover with the people in the ring and there's 12 billion people and
Okay.
it's Jimmy Olsen. I just got a card from the audience. Um,
Jimmy
uh,
Olsen.
yeah, Metamorpho's on it. I'm on it. A lot of comic creators are on it actually.
Right.
Uh, I do love my old Fumettis. We talked about anything Schweitzer or Kyle Starks does is good. Uh, encourage people to get Chris Sabala back into comics. He's not right.
Sabella. I love Chris Sabella. He was our first guest.
Really? That's kind of
Yeah.
cool. Yeah,
Yeah,
Chris
he's been
lives
on
within
three or
walking
four
distance.
times.
Um,
Yeah.
uh, anything by Jeff Parker. God, who else? So I was going to
These
say
are
earlier, it's the easiest way to shut my mind down is to say, "What do you like?"
no, that's a good list.
Yeah.
I like this list.
Yeah.
I know, actually, you're doing all sorts of stuff with Mad Cave. Mad Cave just reprinted an old Christopher Sabella
Oh,
graphic
I didn't know that.
novel, Pantomime.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Mad Cave has a lot of stuff that's come out in the past that's good. They're coming out with a lot of cool stuff right now. And I mean, I'm in the pipeline and I know some stuff they have in the future. And it's,
No, Mad Cave is pretty much hands down my favorite publisher right now.
I think that's
Mad
fair.
Cave and Maverick are both killing it.
Yeah.
Like,
And across
you
the
know,
board, it's like
right,
you
right.
don't, you see that Mad Cave, thing. You don't go, oh, I know what type of comic this is. It's like, you probably don't. Because,
Right. Well, and the two biggest things that I'll say before we stop recording because you're running out of gas is and I do have one off-air question for you. Um, but is that like they also there are two things that can be said about them and have been said about them that to me are most important when good stuff is coming out. The first is that their focus is comics and being sustainable as comics. They're not trying to be an IP factory. They're not spending money to try to send stuff to Hollywood or whatnot. I'm certain they won't turn it down if it comes. But
sure.
like when Aftershocks bankruptcy papers went out, the thing that annoyed me the most is how many millions of dollars they owed to people that I didn't know who were supposedly Hollywood fixers. And it's like, dude, like,
Mm.
no. Um, but then the second thing is just because it's been too common of a story, like when Mad Cave started really kicking off, the first thing I did was reach out to a couple of creators that were working there that I knew well enough to be able to ask this question, which is, do they pay well? Do they pay on time? Because we're just hearing way too many stories about, and I literally got told by an artist, man, they direct deposit, which I'd
Mhm.
never heard in comics before.
Yeah.
And Wednesdays become my most productive night because if I get my pages in by Wednesday at midnight, I'll see it in my Thursday check.
Yeah. They're quick and yeah.
And it's like, this is what I love to hear.
And they're
So
jewels
I'm
to work
glad that
with.
they like you because it
Every
seems,
single editor there that I've worked with is just fantastic.
yeah,
So,
yeah. So, Paul, it's always a blast. I'm certain we'll do it again. One of these days, we'll have Colleen on.
yeah,
Um,
she almost was there.
yeah, no, I saw. So, for 22 panels, this has been Paul Tobin. We will see you after the next page.
Hey guys, this is Tyler from 22 Panels. I'm here to tell you all about our Patreon. If you enjoy this show, please consider donating to our Patreon to keep this show going. We have many different tiers, all different levels to help you decide what's right for you. Okay, so get on out there to patreon.com/22 Panels Podcast.